and I spend basically the entirety of our professional careers working for the big environmental groups. I mean, you name it, Sierra Club, NRDC. We even worked with Earth First on a campaign to save the last ancient redwoods in California. We were movement guys. I mean, we were consultants to the big green groups. We really accepted most of the basic ideas of the environmental movement. And I think over time, we, became gradually disillusioned with the traditional environmental approaches to climate change.
It's my assessment that we have no consensus here for Article 10. Then we are going to delete Article 10 from the protocol. It's all decided.
People would tell you that, oh, everything is going to change. The world is going to implement the Kyoto Treaty on global warming. We're all going to start using solar and wind for our energy. It was a very seductive narrative.
Then, para A is adopted. Para C is adopted. We understand that there is agreement on para D, E, F, and G.
The idea was that the U.S. was going to sign Kyoto, and then all the countries in the world were going to just start ratcheting down their emissions year after year, just like they did in their Excel spreadsheets. The problem is, these were all proposals based on making fossil fuels more expensive. And I think it's pretty safe to say that is not going to happen.
The adoption of this protocol to the conference by unanimity.
There's not going to be a global treaty on climate change. The United Nations treaty process is basically run aground. We just walked away being like, nobody has a clue as to how to do this. So we wrote this essay, The Death of Environmentalism, that argued that if environmentalism is that kind of small bore, then we need something beyond environmentalism.
Modern environmentalism, with all of its unexamined assumptions, outdated concepts, and exhausted strategies, must die so that something new can live.
I would suggest that it will take more than dead penguins and melting ice caps to get Americans to fundamentally get involved in this political transformation of our energy economy.
We still didn't think we needed nuclear power. It really took us getting clear about how big the gap was between fossil fuels and renewables for us to take a second look at nuclear.
Part of the problem is intermittency, and that hasn't been solved. It's not always sunny and it's not always windy, and there are long periods of time when renewables would deliver no power at all into a grid.
You can't just have electricity when the wind blows or the sun shines. All that wind power has to have backup. And this is why you see energy companies, they love in their TV ads to put wind towers, because they love wind power. And believe me, I'm not against wind and solar. But the backup comes from burning fossil fuels. And the gas industry loves wind power because it means more gas plants.
We're building these all over the country, and one of the questions we ask, we need about 3,000 foot in altitude. We need flat land, we need 300 days of sunlight, and we need to be near a gas pipe. Because, for all of these big utility scale power plants, whether it's wind or solar, everybody is looking at gas as the supplementary fuel. The plants that we're building, the wind plants and the solar plants, are gas plants.
You end up feeling like a sucker. I ended up feeling like I was a sucker. And embarrassed because, of course, for all those years I'd been telling people that renewables, were the future.